How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or an Uncoder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And today we're going to continue working on our notification system. Last episode, we got it just that way the WebSockets are working, and that way we can make a single notification call whenever someone created a new post and send it out to all their followers. Today, we're going to kind of continue on and finish up all the other situations where we might want to send a notification. And we'll go ahead and start working on the front end next episode to kind of implement some of those over there. So let's go ahead and hop straight into the code here. We want to go ahead and continue working on the different types of sending notifications. So let's go ahead and go back into our notification service. And inside of our notification service, we want to create one more method in here that is related to sending them based on posts. So we're going to say public and void, and we're going to go ahead and say create and send, and this is going to be notification, and this is going to need a notification type, and we'll just call this type. It's going to need application user, and we'll call this recipient. Maybe we'll need application user action user, and we'll need the post. So this one's going to be more of a generic one. The top one is specifically for post whenever someone creates a new post, because it's going to be sent to multiple people. This one is more or less if you go in like someone's specific post, then it's only going to be sent to one person. We're going to say notification, and it's going to equal to new notification, and we're going to have the type. We're going to have local date. Whoops, make sure we spell local right. Local date time dot now. We'll also go ahead and have false. This one we want to send to the user whenever they log in, so it's not going to start out as acknowledged. We'll have recipient, we'll have action user, and we'll have the post. So we'll go ahead and create a new notification. We'll say notification is equal to notification, if I could type notification repository dot, and then we'll go ahead and save that notification like so, and then we can go ahead and say template dot convert and send to user. So again, we'll go ahead and say notification dot get recipient dot get, and then username, right? And then we'll go ahead and say we'll send this to / notifications, and then we will go ahead and send that notification. So now whenever someone likes your post, replies to your post, does whatever with your post, we should be able to send that notification specifically to that one user. Let's make sure we spell application user correctly. There we go, and save that. Cool. So now what we need to go ahead and do is go back into our post service and implement all of these. So let's go back to our post service. Now we already have it for creating a regular post. So now what we want to go ahead and do is basically do the same thing here. We have posted is equal to post repo.save, and then notification service.create and send notifications. And we want to do this inside of the media one. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. Let's go down to create media post and see where we save the right here. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to actually do one of these. We're going to Y this. We're going to come down here. And now instead of saying return post repo.save post, we're actually going to do one of these. We're going to say posted is equal to post repo.save p. We're going to go ahead and have a notification service.create and send notification, and then we'll go ahead and return that post. So that's good to go. Now we need to go through and kind of do these other ones for like reply and others. So now if we come down here, instead of returning post repo.save original, what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and say post saved reply is equal to post repo.save reply. So let's go ahead and actually just do this. Right, and then what we can go ahead and do after this, we can go ahead and say notification service dot, and we'll say send, and actually it's create, if I could type, create and send notification. Here we'll have notification type dot reply, because it's a reply. Here the recipient is going to be original .get author. Hopefully it's in there. Next, the action user will be saved reply. Maybe. .get author. And then finally, the post will be the saved reply. Actually, no, we don't want save reply. The post we want original, because that is the post that they replied to. So I made a little typo there. Then we'll return saved reply. There we go. Now we also want to go ahead and do the saved media, and let's see if I spelled this incorrectly. I did. So notification type, and then let's go ahead and import this, I'm guessing. There we go. Now we need to do the same exact thing with our one with media, assuming that I don't just call it already. Let's double check. So here we have a create post DTO. Here we are calling create post DTO, and then that might be a problem because whenever we create the ply, we're calling create post. So then we are actually, that might be okay. Yeah, we'll do that because technically it is a new post to go in the timeline. So we'll keep that. It's a little bit funky, but it is what it is. Now we're going to go ahead and delete this. And then let's go ahead and paste this. So now we have our post reply saved. And then we will go ahead and send the notification out. And let's see what is wrong with this. Method save is not applicable to type string. This one we need to call reply post. Fair enough. So let's go ahead and say this is reply post, like so. That should be good. And now the rest of these should be pretty simple. So if we come down to repost, so now in repost we can probably basically do the same thing. This one we can literally just say notification service and then dot create and send notification type. So this one's repost, so we're going to say repost. And then we'll have post.getAuthor. We're going to have the user, and we'll pass the post because we already updated the likes, so that's fine. And then we can do the same thing here. So before we save this one to the database, we'll say notification service.create and send notifications. Here will be notification type. We are inside of the like, so it's be like, and then we will have our post.getAuthor. We'll also have user and we'll have post. So that one is also simple. I don't know if we really need one for bookmarks, but I added it anyway. So here we'll say notification service dot create and send notification. So here we'll have notification type, and then this will be .bookmark. Again, we will have post.getAuthor because this user is liking this or bookmarking it, so we want to send it to the author, user, and post. And then finally we should have one more, I believe, or maybe we don't. Yeah, so that's it. So cool. So now we did all the notifications for that, and let's go ahead and save this just to be sure. So that's all that. I'm not going to go through all of these. I want to move on to doing stuff for like follow and stuff like that, and then we'll go ahead and test that because we already kind of tested the other post stuff. So now let's go back into a notification service and set it up so that we can follow someone. So now instead of a notification service under here, let's go ahead and say public void, and we're going to go ahead and say create and send follow notification. Again, this one's kind of special, so that's why we're doing a new one. This will be application user recipient and application user, and this will be action user. Cool. So now we'll have notification equal to new notification, and here we'll pass in notification type dot, and this is going to be follow. We'll go ahead and have local date time dot now. We'll have false because we do want them to see this. We'll have our recipient, and we'll have our action user. So we created our notification. Now we'll say notification is equal to notification repository dot save. We'll go ahead and save that notification, and then we'll go ahead and say template dot convert and send to user, and then this will be notification dot get recipient and dot get username. We're going to send this to /notifications again, and then we're going to go ahead and have the notifications sent along with it. And I spelled notification wrong, so that's cool. Of course I did. What's new? So authentication. There we go. Save that. It says there's a compilation error, but it's not. It's fine. So cool. So that's what we need to do there. So now we need to go ahead and make a couple of changes in our user service as well as user, because there is a couple of problems I ran into. So let's go and hop into user service. And inside of user service, we're going to go down to follow user. And this is going to have a ripple effect. So it is what it is. So inside of follow user, instead of returning logged in user.getFollowing, we're actually going to go ahead and just return the application user itself, and I'll show you why in a second. And we're going to go ahead and return logged in user. So let's go ahead and do that. Save that. Now, of course, this is going to break inside of like our controllers and other things like that. That's fine. Let's go into our user controller and actually fix that up. Now, inside of our user controller, we need to go ahead and bring in the notification service. I wanted to bring this into the user service, but it creates a circular dependency and it's not allowed. So that's why we're doing it here. So final notification service. Notification service. And then we will go ahead and bring in notification service in here. Notification service. Notification service. Then go ahead and say this dot notification service is equal to notification service. Okay, so now we need to go down to our follow after we go ahead and import this, I guess. So go ahead and import notification service. And let's go down to our follow. So here we can see that this is broken. So what we want to go ahead and do is we already have our string follow user and our string logged in, but now we're also going to go ahead and grab this specific user as well. So we're going to say application user is equal to user service dot, and we're going to go ahead and say follow user, and then we're going to go ahead and have logged in user, and then we're going to have followed user. So basically we're taking the return here and we're going to go ahead and use the user. We'll go ahead and actually return user dot get and then following, like so. So we will go ahead and still return that. And then here we're going to have application user, and then we're going to go ahead and say followed dot, and then this is going to equal to user dot get following. We could have done another call here. It is what it is. We're going to go ahead and say dot filter, and here we're going to say u dot get username. Actually, we're going to say u lambda u dot get username, and then dot equals maybe, and then this is going to be user dot get username, and then this is going to say dot find first, and then dot or else no. And hopefully, let's see, we might need to stream it. Okay, that's fine. I forgot to stream dot filter u dot get username, make sure it compiles. We're good. So now we have our user and our followed user. We could have just done another call. It is what it is. Let me think about this for a second. I might have this incorrect. So for followed, we say user dot get following. So to get the user's following, u dot get username is equal to, I'm pretty sure this should be followed user here. So let me actually fix this. Although followed user might be, it's a string, so maybe it'll work. I don't know what followed user is. Headers, string token, request body, link hash map. I think that should be fine, except I need to add the parenthesis that I deleted on accident. As we say body.get, we pass in those two, and user service takes in two strings. So I'm hoping that works. We'll see what happens here. Now we can have notification service dot, and we can say create and send follow notification. And then here we'll go ahead and pass in the followed user and the user, because here the followed user is the one that needs to be notified and then the other one doesn't really. And then let's go ahead and see, make sure there's no errors. There's not, it's just being a little bit dumb. Let's go ahead and restart it just for the heck of it. But now we can go ahead, and before we run this, we do need to update the toString method inside of the application user. Otherwise, we're going to go circular dependency with toString. It's going to break everything, and then we can go ahead and test it. So let's go ahead and go to the application user. And then inside the application user, let's go to the bottom toString. Here and following, instead of passing the following list, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to say following.stream. We're going to go ahead and .map. So .map. This is going to be super easy. So we'll say follow E, and then we'll say follow e.get user ID. And then we're going to go ahead and collect and collectors.toList. So super easy. We're just going to go ahead and pass back the list of user IDs instead, and then that will go ahead and make it so we don't get a circular dependency. We're going to do the same exact thing here. So we're going to say .stream and .map, and we'll say follower.get user ID .collect. We'll say collectors.toList. Again, this will fix a circular dependency between toString that'll cause basically a null pointer from looping over and over again. So now let's go ahead and open up dbeaver and just kind of see who's following who. We can also go ahead and go to our data SQL to see as well. And let's make sure this saves. Still saying compile error. I don't know where the compile error is. It seems like it's running fine. Let's just double check again. Yeah, this is running fine. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully it saved. I'm guessing it saved. Let's go ahead and go into data SQL. So here we see that my followers, so 1535 yada yada yada. So what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and remove summer from this list because we've been logging in as summer. We'll go ahead and remove summer from this list as well. Whoops. Like that. Go ahead and save this. We're not going to see any difference in the front end or this, so we need to go ahead and restart this once again. But now if we go to our front end, we shouldn't see any posts from summer. Well, actually no, we will see posts from summer, but I think that she's not following us now. Maybe actually I don't know how that works. Let me double check. I don't think that actually did anything. I'm kind of dumb. I think I just unfollowed her. Whatever. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the front end. We're also gonna open up Postman, and let's go ahead and log in as summer, which I think I already am. So I can go to post, I can go to headers, and I can grab her token really quick. Now I'm logged in as summer. We go to follow. So first we need to go into our headers. Let's go ahead and put in our bear token. And I hope this is proper because I haven't touched this in a while. And then followed user be unknown coder. So let's just see what happens. This might break because I broke something. We'll see. So now we got the user back, or the list of users back. Now let's double check to see if we got the notification inside of the console. Oh, I lost connection. So let's try again. I'm going to have to restart this again. So let's go ahead and restart the application. And I'll have to restart my front end application as well, and not restart it, but refresh it. Okay, let's restart our front end. There we go. We're subscribed. We're not disconnected. Let's go ahead and go back into Postman. Send it. Okay, now you can see we got our message about following. That's good to go. Now all we want to go ahead and do is set it up so we can actually retrieve notifications whenever we log back in. Because like here, if we are logged off and we are disconnected from the WebSocket, you saw we wouldn't actually get this. So we want to go ahead and fetch all the notifications we haven't read yet. Let's hop back into our code and get that worked out. So back into our backend code, let's go back to our notification repository and set up a quick query to actually get some of the notifications for us. So inside of a notification repository, we're going to have a list of notifications, and we're going to go ahead and call this get by recipient. This one I hope I spell right. And acknowledged. This one is a tough one. Acknowledged false. We're going to go ahead and pass in the application user recipient. So what this is going to do is going to get by our specific application user, and it's only going to go ahead and grab the ones that have not been acknowledged. So it's going to basically grab all of the unread ones for a specific user and then pass them down for us. Again, I don't know why Vim is being like this. Let's just go ahead and retry to start it. I don't know why it's being difficult. But now let's go ahead and go into our notification service and finish up the last couple methods we need in there. So let's go into our services, notification service, get rid of that. Hopefully the Java language server is fine. So now we'll go ahead and say public list of notification. And this is going to be called fetch users notifications. And we probably should fetch all of them at some point, but I'm more worried about the ones that are incomplete. So integer, and then, whoops, user ID. And now that I think about it, we probably will go back and fetch all, but that is what it is. That'll be a different episode. We'll have application user, and then user is equal to user service dot get user by ID. Pass in that user ID, and then we'll go ahead and say return notification repository dot, and then here we'll say get by recipient and acknowledge false. Pass in that user like so. There we go. That one's good to go. We'll also have a public void, and we'll go ahead and acknowledge. So again, this one is also important. Then we go ahead and make sure that the application knows we have seen the notification. So we're gonna acknowledge notifications, list of notifications, and notifications. We're gonna basically loop through all these notifications and save them. We'll say list notification, and we'll go ahead and say acknowledged notifications is equal to notifications dot stream. We're gonna stream through our notifications. We're gonna go ahead and map each notification. We'll use the lambda, and we'll go ahead and say notification dot set acknowledged to true. And we'll go ahead and return that modified notification, and then we'll go ahead and say dot to list. Go ahead and send that to a list, and then we'll go ahead and say notification repository dot save all, and we'll go ahead and say acknowledge notifications like so. And I don't know why it did like that, and it just scuffed everything. Thank you. Fix that, save all, and then acknowledged notifications. Why is it adding an extra parenthesis? I don't know. Actually, I don't know why it's doing this at all. Why are you being like this? Acknowledge notifications. There we go. So now we can acknowledge a notification. We can fetch user notifications. We really should be able to fetch all by user. I didn't really think about that, and it's not really in my plans to do that right now, but we'll do it eventually. So there we go. So now we have the user source right. Now we need to go ahead and set up the notification controller to actually fetch these whenever we are offline. So let's go ahead and create that. So space JC. We'll go ahead and put this in controllers. We'll go ahead and call this, notification controller. There we go. So here we'll say at rest controller, and here we'll have at request mapping, and this will be to slash and notifications like so. I think I spelled notifications right. At this point I can't tell. Private final notification service, and public notification controller. Pass in that notification service, and we'll say this dot notification service is equal to notification service. This is going to be very simple. Let's make sure we auto wire this. Auto wired, and then here we'll say at get mapping, and we're going to go ahead and call this slash unread slash ID. Go ahead and grab that, and we'll say public list of notification, and this will be fetch users unread notifications, and then here we'll have an at path variable, and this will be called ID, and we'll go ahead and call this integer ID like so, and then here we'll go ahead and return notification service dot and then this will be fetch users notifications. We'll go ahead and pass in that ID. So that one is very simple. Same thing here. So at post mapping, and this one will be to slash acknowledge, and this will be a public We'll just return a response entity on this one of a string. Very simple. I'm not going to return the notifications or anything. And this will be acknowledge and notifications. Here we'll have an at request body. And this will be of type acknowledge notifications DTO. So we need to create this. I don't know why it sees it, which is interesting because I did create this at one point, but obviously it's not in this branch. So I'm kind of curious to see how it knows that, but interesting. And then this will be notification service dot acknowledge notifications. And then this will be body dot get notifications, like so. Again, we need to create this acknowledge notifications DTO. So we'll deal with that. We'll return response entity and then dot okay. And then we're going to go ahead and say acknowledged notifications. So that's simple enough. Let's go ahead and import what we can. So let's go ahead and import our list from java.util. We'll go ahead and import our notification from Java models. And then let's go ahead and say space JC. And we'll go ahead and put this into DTO. And then this will be acknowledge notifications DTO. And this is going to be a dead simple one. Okay, it definitely didn't exist. So I don't know why it was saying it existed. So here we'll have a private list of notification and notifications, and then we're basically just going to have a couple of getter setters and stuff like that. So let's go and import our list from Java util. Let's go ahead and import our notification, and then let's go ahead and give ourselves a tab here, and let's do our constructors. We'll do a no-arg constructor. We'll do an all-arg constructor, which is just one thing. And it didn't do what I wanted, so thank you for that. So let's try again. Constructors, one, enter, escape. There we go. Space CA. We'll go ahead and do getter and setter for notifications. We'll go ahead and do our hash code and equals. Is it that important? No. And I messed up again. And we will do our hash code and equals. Hit one, escape, and then space CA to string, one, enter, escape. There we go. So there is our basic DTO. Let's go back to our controller. And now we can go ahead and import this guy, acknowledge notifications DTO. Go ahead and import that from Twitter DTO. And what's wrong? If I spelled something wrong, I did spell something wrong. So we can go ahead and we should be able to say space CR. And we can go ahead and say acknowledge notifications DTO, and it should hopefully rename everything. It looks like that's renamed. Let's go back to our controller. Let's try to do this again. So let's delete this, try to bring this in, and there we go. No errors. Let's just make sure this loads. So it's mad right now. Let's try to run it again. I might have typoed some stuff inside the repository. So if I did, I'll try to fix that real quick as well. Okay, what's the issue? No property acknowledged. And I spelled acknowledge wrong. Of course I did. For now, I'm just going to fix it here. And then I will fix it later on as well. And then finally, one more acknowledged. And let's see if it will compile. Mad at us. But if we go ahead and try to run it, let's see if it finds acknowledged now. There we go. Cool. Everything compiles. So now what we can go ahead and do is I do want to hop back into the backend for just a second. And I want to just go ahead and create a couple of notifications in the backend. So let's go into data.sql. And inside of data.sql, let's go ahead and insert some things into our notification table. So insert into notifications, I believe is what I called it. Values. We'll go ahead and say notification underscore ID. I want to make sure these are the right order. Acknowledged. We'll have timestamp. We'll have, and I think we have to do like timestamp like this for it to work. We'll have notification underscore type. We'll have action underscore user underscore ID. We'll have post underscore ID, and we'll have recipient underscore user underscore ID, right? And then what we can go ahead and do We don't want values here. So let's fix this. And if this doesn't work, I'll do a little bit off screen to get it to work. So now we can go ahead and say values. And here, notification ID will be 1, acknowledge will be false, timestamp will be now, and then we will do notification type 5. I'll look to make sure that's right. Action user ID, we'll just put 1, post ID will be null, recipient ID will be 5. And we can kind of do the same thing here. So let's just go ahead and copy this, and we'll add a few notifications just so we can see those notification controllers working. That's the whole point of this here. So then we can go ahead and paste, paste. And we will paste, and we will paste. So we'll do like 4 notifications. We'll do 1 that has been seen through. This one will be 2, and we'll get it from 2. This one will be 2, or that's be 3. We'll get it from 3, and then this one will be 4. And we'll get it from 4. Doesn't look pretty, but it is what it is. It's fine. So let's go ahead and save all, and then let's go ahead and restart our application and make sure that this works. Otherwise, I might take a sec here to make sure it does work and get it working in case I typoed something. Okay, it seems like it works. Let me check dbeaver for data. So here are notification. Let's go ahead and refresh it, and then let's go ahead and look at the data. There we go. So we have 1 acknowledged, no post, recipient ID, and the action type's 5. I never actually checked the action type, so we can actually check the notification type. It's actually 7. So we can actually fix that. Let's go ahead and go back into data, and we'll fix these to 7, and then we'll be good. So we have the notification type will be 7. None of this really matters. And then we will restart the application one more time, and then open up Postman. Okay, we started. Let's open up Postman. Inside Postman, I need to log in as unknown coder. That way I can get my notification. So unknown coder. Let's go ahead and log in as unknown coder. Go ahead and grab my token. So let's copy the token, and then let's go into our notification. We'll grab unread for 5, and then we'll go into authorization or headers. That's surprising that we don't need a header. Either that, or maybe I didn't test it, but authorization, or it didn't get saved, one of the two. Save that. There we go. But now, fingers crossed, we should be able to get 3 notifications. 500. Terrific. Maybe it is 6. Let's go back to our data SQL. It's kind of a mess. Maybe it is 6, and I didn't count correctly. I don't think it starts at 0. I mean, it could start at 0, but I'm pretty sure since it's an ID, it starts at 1. Wait for it to start. There we go. Okay, let's try again. There we go. Yep. Okay, I guess it does start at 0. So notification type 2 or ID 2 to follow, 3 to follow, and then 4 to follow. And then we didn't get that other one because that one was already read. And we can also go ahead and acknowledge them. So what I'll go ahead and do is here, I guess this didn't save either, so that's cool. So go ahead and say post to http:// localhost notifications/acknowledge. And then here we'll have our headers, and we will have our authorization. We'll have bearer, paste in my bearer token, and then body will be raw, and then JSON. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is this is going to take in notifications. I know this is a little bit small, and it's going to be a list of notifications. What I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm just going to grab this list of notifications here that were unread that I got previously, and then I'll paste it in here. It's a little bit ugly, but it is what it is. And let me make sure I actually save this. So now we should be able to acknowledge these notifications. I believe this is all I need to do. So let's go ahead and try it. You can see acknowledge notifications. Now if we go back to dbeaver, and we go ahead and refresh this. So let's go ahead and refresh. You can see that they're all acknowledged and they're all good to go. That's basically all of our notifications set up. This episode might have been a little bit choppy just because it's pretty early in the morning. I'm just trying to get my day started and everything. But anyway, I hope you guys still enjoyed. I'm still trying to work on these episodes and pump them out as much as possible. So hopefully I'll be able to get all caught up and start uploading again. I know that there's probably going to be a bit of an impact on my channel, but sometimes life gets in the way and you got to do what you got to do. Life comes first, you know. But anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to see more episodes of this, there is a playlist down in the description below that starts from absolutely nothing to get to this point. As always, guys, this has been Ethan on Coder. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.